What will happen in Doors Floor 3? After the developers announced the start of development for the next chapter, the excitement and anticipation for what's to come have only grown. At the end of Doors 2, players twist all the valves, successfully draining the Seek's ominous black goo. This action reveals a generator which, when activated, powers the metal door on the top floor of the dam. Beyond this door lies a manhole leading into the dark and mysterious woods. As players continue their journey through the eerie environment, they are greeted by the sight of a colossal castle looming in the distance. As they approach and push open the castle doors, players feel a sense of pride and accomplishment for all the hard work they've put into overcoming the challenges so far. However, their moment of triumph is short-lived. Suddenly, Grumble erupts from the ground, ready to attack. The tension builds as players brace for confrontation, but just as Grumble is about to strike, Seek's arm shoots out, grabbing him. Grumble's distressed growls indicate he's in trouble, suggesting that Seek is exerting control over him, using the black goo. In a dramatic turn of events, Seek looms over Grumble, creating a sense of suspense and uncertainty about what will happen next. Then, the screen fades with a chilling "to be continued," leaving players in suspense and eager for answers. Before we delve into the fate of Grumble in Floor 3, we must ponder the castle's purpose and significance. Unfortunately, we don't get a chance to uncover these mysteries, as the screen is abruptly interrupted by the impending attack. This cliffhanger is far more complex than the ending of Floor 1, where we simply received the achievement Rock Bottom, clearly indicating where the next chapter would take place. One popular theory among players suggests that Floor 3 will indeed unfold within the castle, glimpsed at the end of Doors 2. This castle is anticipated to be the third floor, following the mines. After successfully navigating the mines, players will likely gain access to this new and foreboding area, featuring a grand castle situated near a dam and a winding river. Upon analyzing the interior of the castle, players may notice unsettling remnants, such as piles of flesh scattered about. These grisly details imply that Figure has traversed this castle before, reinforcing the notion that he could emerge as an entity in Floor 3. The presence of these remnants indicates that Figure has had previous encounters within the castle, potentially signifying that he has grown stronger or more formidable through his experiences. In Doors Floor 3, players could come across a secret, ominous room where they witness Seek's long, dark arm reaching out from the shadows and gripping Figure. As Seek's arm envelops Figure, it releases a thick, dark goo that seeps into Figure's body, infecting him. This goo begins to change Figure, enhancing his abilities and perhaps even granting him limited vision. As the infection progresses, Figure starts to perceive faint outlines and shadows of nearby players, allowing him to rely on both sight and sound to track them. This change could make him a far more formidable enemy, blending his sound-based tracking with a new, eerie visual awareness. Now, players wouldn't just have to stay quiet, they would also have to stay completely out of sight, carefully maneuvering to avoid catching Figure's attention. This twist would reveal more about Seek's mysterious powers and the dark, spreading influence he has in the hotel, suggesting that he might be able to control or infect others. It adds a fresh layer of horror to Figure's character, transforming him into an even more menacing creature. Players would feel the pressure mounting as they try to avoid this newly empowered Figure, with his unpredictable combination of senses, which would make exploring Floor 3 a thrilling and terrifying experience. In Doors 3, there's a chance that Grumble, the Queen's Screech infected with Seek's goo, could add an extra layer of tension right from the start. Imagine beginning the game with Grumble making an early appearance, creating a mini chase sequence before you even get to the main action. This setup would be a huge surprise for players who think they have a bit of time before facing real threats. Grumble's unexpected entrance would set a darker tone and immediately hint that things are going to get a lot more intense. Then, during the Seek chase itself, Grumble could reappear, closing in from behind. With both Seek and Grumble in pursuit, you're constantly forced to dodge Seek's usual obstacles while also staying out of Grumble's path, adding pressure like never before. Maybe Grumble's goo could even have the power to slow you down if you get too close, making quick movements essential for survival. It could even play out like a high-stakes chase where you end up needing an escape method, possibly a boat or another form of transport that adds a twist to the sequence. This combo of two chases, one at the start and one with Seek, would make Grumble's role crucial. Having Grumble appear both early on and later would add layers to the gameplay, making every second count and forcing players to rethink their strategy. Additionally, it's plausible that this castle serves as a pivotal location for Seek. It may be where he intends to establish dominance, possibly with the help of Mischievous Light, who could aid him in his quest to eliminate every entity that stands in his way. The stakes are high, and it seems that Seek harbors ambitions of claiming this castle for himself in Room 152, also known as Jeff's shop in the mines. One of the standout features of this area is a giant vine holding up a lamppost located at the back of the room. At first glance, this may appear to be just a decorative element, and I honestly thought so for a while. However, there's another character in this room, El Goblino, who brings it up in conversation. It's important to note that, despite his lighthearted personality, El Goblino plays a significant role in the game's lore. He often alerts players to hidden secrets. For instance, he hints at the existence of Dread, the sub-level entrance, and many other vital elements. So if El Goblino mentions this vine, it must hold some importance. The first clue comes from the fact that this vine isn't just a random occurrence. If you look at the out-of-bounds area in the courtyard, you can spot the same vine hanging out there. This suggests that the vine is massive, possibly stretching from the hotel all the way to the mines. Alternatively, it could imply that the vine is sentient and capable of movement, which is why it appears in both locations. Now let's introduce our second player in this theory, Snare. Snare may seem like just another entity, but it's actually quite fascinating. This plant-like creature, found in the courtyard and greenhouse, stuns players who step on it, creating a challenge as Rush may come after you while you're immobilized. But here's where it gets interesting. Lore-wise, Snare shares similarities with Seek. The Seek we know isn't just a humanoid figure. Rather, he's a giant mass of black goo and eyes. This goo can mold and distribute itself into various forms, meaning the humanoid version is just a small part of the whole entity. According to a message from the developers, Snare isn't a collection of individual entities, but a single entity with traps extending from the ground, all interconnected through a massive series of vines. You might start to see where I'm going with this. I believe that the vine seen in both the courtyard and Jeff's shop is actually part of Snare. It serves as the vine connecting all the individual traps together. Now, I know it might seem like a stretch since the vine and Snare look quite different, but this theory feels like the best explanation for the vine's relevance in the overall story of Doors. Additionally, the vine's close proximity to the greenhouse reinforces this idea. It makes sense for the traps to be near their connective vine. It also appears that spikes are protruding from the vine, which further ties it to Snare, as those spikes are used to stun victims. So, now that we've established a potential connection between the vine and Snare, what does this mean for a new boss in Floor 3? In Floor 2, we faced two versions of Seek, the humanoid version during chase sequences and the true form of the entity as the boss in Room 200. Given that Snare shares similarities with Seek, I believe we'll see a similar approach with Snare's character. We've already encountered the individual version of Snare, so it seems likely we'll eventually confront its true form, which could involve that strange vine we keep seeing throughout the game. Moreover, the reuse of garden areas in Floor 2 further emphasizes that plants and nature play a significant role in the game, suggesting hints towards a potential Snare boss in the next floor. But what would this Snare boss actually look like? Based on the developer's messages, we can expect it to be an interconnected series of vines. I think there could be more to it. While a giant web of vines would be cool, I envision a central structure that could resemble a face for better recognition. My theory is that this Snare boss will take the form of a Venus flytrap or something similar. Not only do Venus flytraps function like Snare by actively hunting and capturing prey, but a model of a Venus flytrap was actually leaked for Doors, which adds to the credibility of this theory. To summarize, based on El Goblino's dialogue, we know that the vine in room 152 is important. I theorize that it's part of Snare and hints at a larger Snare boss that will appear in a future floor. Now, what if Seek has an even bigger plan in mind? I think he's trying to create an army. Here's how I see it. A group of Giggles made it to the upper floors, and Seek noticed their potential. He probably corrupted them to help track us down. This could also explain why we encounter Screech in floor 1, but way less frequently. Screech only managed to find a few Giggles. Overall, this idea could significantly enhance gameplay and deepen the lore, creating a thrilling experience as players face the consequences of Seek's influence on Figure. Throughout our journey, Seek uses screeches to pinpoint our location for his chases. When we hit door 100 and fall down the elevator shaft, Seek follows us because he's dead set on our demise. We accidentally lead him straight to the mines, right where Grumble hangs out. As soon as Seek arrives, he starts spreading his corruption among the Giggles in the area, but he can't corrupt Grumble because it's too big and is nestled deep in the caves. This is why we constantly face a swarm of screeches from doors 100-200. They're all part of his corrupted army, but what do you think doors floor 3 will include? Type your theories in the comments. Click on this video here.